We have a special address coming up, first of all. This is going to be about a thought-provoking talk by an award-winning mentor who began his entrepreneurial journey with an edtech startup and has been actively contributing on academic reforms, student development, and cultural awareness. Ladies and gentlemen, he is an alumnus of IIM Calcutta, an educator, author, 2 times TEDx speaker, and startup mentor for more than 4.7 lakh students across India through programs like Lean Campus Startups. He's also associated with the Ministry of Education's Innovation Cell, Government of India, to help faculties and students turn their ideas into real innovation models, basically turning dreams into reality and setting an example. Ladies and gentlemen, please join hands in welcoming on stage Mr. Umesh Rathod. Can we please have Mr. Rathod over here on stage? Bigger round of applause for Mr. Rathod, please, if I may request. Thank you. Are you mic'd up, sir? You want to use this mic? You're mic'd up? Is his mic, can we just switch on his mic and check his mic? No? Not really, I believe.
Hello.
Can you all hear him?
No.
Is the mic on?
It's on.
No, I don't think so. Just help him out, please. Very important session. We can't afford even one word miss.
While he's adjusting, can we have an applause for this guy?
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, I welcome you all again. It's been a pleasure to be part of this, August gathering for the award functions. I hope everyone is waiting for that, but I'll take a few minutes to address some of the issues which we are undergoing right now and how innovation and entrepreneurship can contribute, solve largely those issues as an ecosystem. So, when you talk about reality revolution, we have good high demand, which is persisting. We have larger premium and experience-driven living, which is happening in the ecosystem. Good investment coming through FDI, right? We have policy being addressed. There are a lot of policy reforms which are happening, and sustained demand from the ecosystem. Now, to set the context of my talk, when we talk about the market and the economic activity, it's all good. We are looking at around 12 to 13% contribution of infrastructure and real estate to the economy of the country. Can we have a huge applause for all of you, because you are the real drivers of that change. From April 20 to 2025, we had around 64 billion USD investment coming to this ecosystem. Apart from that, we are looking at good performances year on year when you talk about the sales, right? So it looks good. And what is contributing to it largely, when you talk about the government infra, right? So we are having, different ports, right? Industrial parks coming in all across the country. I'm sure you're not able to see the map of India over here for some reasons, but, every state is doing something incredible right now, from rail, road, to industrial parks. There's phenomenal work done. You're talking about Maharashtra, we rank second across the states in industrial and warehouse lands. And that is another, chunk of, opportunity for all of us where we can chip in. Talking about the waterway, logistics part of it, rail freight corridor, road network, aviation, India is booming. 4.5 lakh hectares of land is identified for industrial and logistics hub in the country. Who is going to build all this, right? And it has to be built by the ecosystem. Now, what is the contributing factor for all of this? It is largely because the government intervention is on the policy, talking about RERA, talking about FDI and REITs, right? We talk about J&K's new land law, where, people not from J&K also can pump in and take land over there, land acquisition bill. So these are largely the policy reforms from the government which are happening to support the mechanisms. Then we are also talking about decolonization of realty. 2 lakh crore homes already delivered under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. Talking about smart cities project, it's near completion, right? We have, 6% left to what was committed by the government. And when you talk about decolonization, it is all about how PropTech-driven beneficiary tracking can happen. Faster construction technologies, low-cost green materials, micro-mortgage, fintech platforms, and then GIS-based land digitization, which can help us solve this problem. Real estate demands innovation-led entrepreneurship, and it cannot happen with the traditional models. So we have to rethink how we can use digital transformation in our capacity. Also, the population is changing. So there is a shift in the structure from land aggregation to project approvals to financial models to urban infra integration. Entrepreneurship becomes execution layer for the ambition which we have for the country, that is Viksit Bharat 2047. And when we talk about rise of prop tech, because since morning you have been listening on this, from service startups, the journey will go to infra startups, and then we talk about the ecosystem being developed, which will be through and through, right? So first wave on efficiency-led startups, aggregators. Second wave on process disruption. And third, which is the emerging ecosystem development, which has largely been, constituted. And this meeting, this gathering is all about that. Also, the hype cycle by Gartner talks about it, when you talk about data centers and infra. So a lot of new technologies are being developed, which are going to revolutionize immersion cooling when you talk about data centers. I don't know how many of us have invested in those R&D, to build. Because when you talk about China or other countries, we are largely lagging behind in AI, patents as well. So I'll address that, to an extent. Then talking about the GCCs, we have 1,700 GCCs contributing to 1.9 million people working in that. We are the largest workforce provider, second to Agri. This is where construction tech, AI, energy optimization, and IoT-enabled, ecosystem and management facilities can scale globally, coming from India. Maharashtra is planning to have its innovation city in Navi Mumbai. It can be a, starting point for all of us to test. It's a testing ground, how we are going to build it. Resilient infra and the global capability centers. But what we are looking at is a lot of mimic models. Out of 126 unicorns, only 16 have some kind of patents. And that's where this question arises. Do we have Bharat ka khud ka model, right? So time to reinvent our own, models which can sustain, because global models have collapsed. And just to give a brief about it, we all know about what's happening in China, the crisis which they are going, through. And it's been largely since 2020 they have been going through this crisis. India also saw that. In fact, today I was reading a report on environmental issues where construction sites creating the noise and the other, pollution which is stopping those projects. So how we are going to address these issues collectively is something which we need to ponder on. Then talking about the reality spaces, are we looking at to be ready for disaster as well as war? When you talk about Israel, in 1993, there was a resolution passed where every flat will have a chamber, called mamad, where people can gather within 1 or 2 minutes when the siren is sound, and they can save themselves. So it's a concretized room where they collectively come and stay, and a thick concrete room where they can save themselves. Do we have something like this in metros? Because that will be largely the targets if we ever get into war. And preparedness for war is not about that. It's about urban planning, because many other countries are doing it. Japan invests a lot for earthquake prevention, or prevention from the disaster. Singapore has a civil defense system, for public housing. And then we have South Korea integrating shelters, underground shelters, to protect its people. So do we have that being built? Because that will be a differentiator. The curious case of Dharavi. I want to highlight this particular thing because it has 259 hectares, 6 lakh people staying over there. It's a gold mine for many. 5 lakh rupees people are paying as a rent for a month in some cases, right? 3,000 square feet, you have to pay 5 lakh to get a space in Dharavi. And it's none of their business right now. Why? Because we are going to shift them to a residential complex. Maharashtra houses 35,000 startups. 12,000 businesses of Dharavi will go extinct because we are going to shift them to residential housing and not special economic zone. We need to rethink our SRA. If there are businesses already existing which have started without any government or private support, how we can help them sustain? Because India requires people who can provide jobs. We cannot take them out of the business. That's a clear-cut identification. And you can see there are a lot of reports published in this space which talks about how businesses are thriving over there in generations. The other important thing which I want to highlight to this audience is old age pool. India is young right now. We are talking about the demographic dividend, but are we preparing for the future? And future, where we are talking about railways building escalators and lifts on the platform, it is as if like old men become old when they reach to the station. But the public infra largely, apart from that, does not have those ecosystems. We don't have escalator in public places. We don't have lifts over there. How we are going to address this? How we are going to make our reality spaces more old age friendly, right? Because this is going to be a big boon. The people who are NRIs and they have invested over here, how we are going to cater. And we have seen that in Corona as well. You know, it was a great lesson for us. So this can be another differentiator. Is our reality vitamin D certified? Largely all the problems in health happen because no access to sunlight on day-to-day basis. We all spend around 10 to 12 hours without the sunlight. How we can have more sunlight reaching to our ecosystem, the people who are thriving. And this can be another differentiator for you to highlight when you are making a pitch, right? Now I'll come to the thing which I've been dealing with, startups ki baat. There are 1,200 incubation centers in the country, and that has laid the foundation for, we are celebrating the 10th year of Startup India. There is obviously technology. Technology will come and go. Technology will keep upgrading. There will be an impact. But are we assessing that? You know, do we spend time to going to campuses only to hire talent, or we are collaborating for innovators? Are we going to campuses to collaborate with R&D cells to talk about quantum material? You know, self-filling cement. So what are the technologies which are coming in? Are we only going to be a procurer from the world, or are we also going to take our technologies abroad? Can we look at patented technologies in campuses to be bought by us to scale it further, right? How can students gain early experience in realty business, not going in the final year, but starting when they enter the colleges to teach them about and mentor them about, skilling them about our ecosystem? And are we ready to support startups in this space? So Loda Builders and many others, I was having a discussion, they are having incubation centers in place. We need to look at how we are going to mentor and connect startups, to help connect the dots. And largely when we talk about patent technologies, there are various streams. When you talk about using space tech to build, housing, mapping through GIS, mapping through drones, sustainable building technologies. There is one company, DSR Infra, which is helping build intelligent solar water heating, gray water recycling plant within those premises, right? Because we are talking about carbon footprint. So those things are also going to come back to us. We talk about high performance glass, so solar energy efficient glass, which can be put up on the housing or the offices. Smart home and IoT, when you talk about, Bhashini, I hope during AI Summit you must have come across this word. Bhashini can help you communicate in any language, right? So your automatic systems, whichever are there in BIM, can you connect it and you can, connect the dots. Any person coming to Mumbai from any part of the country can use it. There's no language barrier. 3D printing and modular construction, right? So this is a startup from IIT Madras, Twasta, which built this house within 15 days and completely 3D printed. Have we invested in 3D printing? Have we thought of making some models around it? Because this is going to be part and parcel. When we talk about making more 1 crore houses under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, and if you are thinking to work on those projects, this can come handy. PropTech investment algorithms, no broker, magic bricks. These are some of the startups working in this domain incredibly well. Architectural and structural, urban mining, glass fiber can be used in rigid pavements to increase the load capacity. Apart from that, you have, self-healing concrete. So have we thought on these aspects? Who are innovating? Which IIT is working on those projects? Have we reached out to campuses to gain insights into this and collaborate? Commercial data centers, smart and green nexus, right? So you have 1.7 gigawatt data centers being built, right? As India builds AI-ready, data centers, what kind of patents can come? Obviously, cooling system, right? When you talk about retail and residential, you have BIM, building management systems. Loda Macrotech is building it. DLF is using to an extent. So, institutional investments through RIITs. What are the solutions available? Blockchain, which is the future. How we are going to sell our lands, and many of the realty businesses are adopting blockchain technologies, to work in this space. Largely, when you talk about housing or realty, the matter of the fact is how affordable it can get to the people, right? We don't want to build a Chinese model where you build realty and then you bomb them and then you restructure, rebuild somewhere. Can we think on micro mortgage fintech models which can support to have affordable housing, construction cost optimization, rental housing platforms, and co-living and managing housing? Because largely when you talk about Gen Zs, they don't want to invest in buying land. 42% of Germany does not, only 42% of Germany owns some kind of property. Apart from that, 58% live on rent. So the future is going to shift drastically as we speak, right? So we need to catch that momentum. So affordable housing is not about charity. It's about high volume and high impact entrepreneurial opportunity if we really clue in. So what are the takeaways from this brief discussion? One, how we can decolonize real estate, one project at a time, right? Second, collaborate with academic institutions for R&D and patent commercialization, whatever patents they have done. Third, be disaster and war ready because it's lurking on our heads. 4, we need Bharat's indigenous model. 5, startups can be driving force with quantum material in action. And 6, thought through SRA projects can be a game changer for the ecosystem. Right? So I'll leave you guys with this poem. यही समय है, सही समय है, भारत का अनमोल समय है. असंख्य भुजाओं की शक्ति है, हर तरफ देश की भक्ति है. तुम उठो तिरंगा लहरा दो, भारत के भाग्य को फहरा दो. यही समय है, सही समय है, भारत का अनमोल समय है. कुछ ऐसा नहीं जो कर ना सको, कुछ ऐसा नहीं जो पा ना सको. तुम उठ जाओ, तुम जुट जाओ, सामर्थ्य को अपने पहचानो, कर्तव्यों को सब अपने जानो. भारत का अनमोल समय है, यही समय है, सही समय है, भारत का अनमोल समय है. Thank you so much for your patient listening. I would be happy to connect the dots. Thank you.
What a phenomenal session. Please wait on stage. The way he ended, you all should acknowledge that and say, repeat after me. Bharat Mata ki.
Jai.
Bharat Mata ki.
Jai.
सबसे ज्यादा जोर से louder. Who gets the loudest? Everybody. Bharat Mata ki.
Jai.
Yes. You deserve that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Incredible session. Thank you.